Give me a moment. Let me try to get everything oriented and set up here. Our chat set to all messages. If you are in the chat, make sure and say hello. Let me know that you can hear me all right. Don't have any audio problems. And you'll see me in and out of the frame as far as what you see on the screen, because I'm kind of going through what I might want to take photos of and get listed. These lighters in this container are the lighters in my personal collection. Matthew McConaughey crew gift lighter. Pretty cool. It's a Cygnus table lighter that was a gift from our buddy Friedrich. Another one that was a gift from Bill Calkins. I was kind of hoping one of those had some fuel in it. Got a bunch of other Cygnus lighters in here. The table lighter, it was a gift from our buddy Sean in the UK. We haven't heard from Sean in a while, so I definitely won't be selling any of those three. The rest of them are all fair game, but there's a few here that aren't likely. Probably not going to part with that 6-inch, 4-inch, however long it is, Cygnus Pan Am advertiser. Really have been thinking a lot here lately about what I do want to collect, and obviously I've got an affinity for Cygnus lighters. I think I've still got about 25 of them. I've sold about 5 of them lately. Got 3 more that are in the eBay store right now, and there'll be some more listed, no doubt, but some of them are just hard to let go, like these ones in these exotic colors. I don't know if that's kind of a pastel pink. It's got a, I take that back, maybe. Can't remember now whether this one is the one that had the replacement snuffer or whether it was the one with the watch. No, it was this one, because the one with the watch is all pink. Now that is hot pink for sure. Same size lighter. A little bit different anodized color. Both really cool though. Also, if you're in the chat, other than letting me know that you can hear me, make sure I got my microphone plugged in. Let me know what brought you here. What brought you to the hobby of vintage cigarette lighter collecting or petrol lighter collecting? That's the way that I determine or would categorize my collection. I use butane lighters all the time, but I don't collect them. I don't work on them. I'm interested in them, but I'm no expert on them. Can't really help you a lot with them, whereas with petrol lighters I can help you as far as replacing wicks or getting them sparking again. It doesn't feel like it's got a flint in it. This is a insert that I had to rebuild. This is one that I bought and then added to my personal collection. I didn't pay much for it, and it reminds me of my dad. My dad was a Ford guy. So even though I don't drive a Ford anymore and probably will not. Oh no, there's a flint in there. It was just in a bind. We'll see if we can get that sparking. Get it grooved and going in the right direction. But even though I'm not all that keen on the Ford Automobile Company today as far as driving a Ford, can't remember what year it was, 2000. Whew. Can't even remember now what that F-150 that I used to drive was that I had so many problems with. But the engines in those problems there in the maybe early 2000 teens, maybe even a little bit before that. Tolerances on the spark plugs, pretty much making it impossible to replace your spark plugs. Not only that, but a really expensive job to have done at a dealership. See some scratches, scuffs, other wear. Anyway, that really soured me on the Ford Motor Company, which I've been driving Fords and Jeeps. I drive a Jeep right now, so of course the Jeep that I drive has an Alfa Romeo drivetrain in it. But that vehicle is awesome. I love it. But anyway, Fords, very nostalgic for me to see that brand. So anytime I see something with a Ford logo, it's going to remind me of my dad. Just like this lighter reminds me of my dad. And if my brother or my buddy AJ were to happen to see this video, they would know exactly why. Maybe a few others might know the backstory with my dad and him asking what happened to all the Smirnoff. But I'm always going to latch on to, especially for inexpensive prices. This lighter was gifted to me last Father's Day or my birthday. Maybe it was my birthday, I think. From my daughter and son-in-law. Has an emblem on it. The soldier. It says Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, which is where my dad went to basic training. There's a story behind that lighter, and there's a video you can go watch that'll tell you all about that. Give you a little bit of insight into my old man. And I'm not sure, having some kind of connection problem. Not sure what that might be. Toggled it off to. Not sure what that might be. Toggled it off to make sure that I was connected to the Wi-Fi with the phone. So maybe just a little Wi-Fi glitch. So hopefully we're back good. Anyway, those lighters all connected to my old man. Not going to be selling them. Another Ford advertiser. And of course, I would differentiate too in the possible selling of any of these lighters. Is that just like I was talking about with those Cygnuses that were gifted to me. This is a lighter that I'll never sell. Being such a treasured gift from my daughter and son-in-law. But these others, you know, I can see at some point where if I gather up so many of them, I might say, well, you know, some of those I don't need all of those to remind me of my dad. But right now I'm still willing to keep a hold of all of them, just like I am this lighter, because it gives me the opportunity to talk about the issue of alcoholism occasionally. And alcoholism, that's something that really matters to me because it's an issue that I struggled with for so long. And now, this past December was 8 years since I'd had a drink. And of course, I've talked a lot about that on the website, YouTube channel as well. The fact that I used marijuana to help wean me off alcohol. Did that without telling the doctor that was treating me at the time, and he was amazed. He was amazed how I was able to quit alcohol so easily and not have any negative effects to my health, not have any more problems than I did. And I think that that cannabis is very well suited for that purpose of weaning a person off of alcohol, which is poison to your body, and once your body gets used to it, it requires it. Here's a little lighter that I found down at my mother's family's farmhouse a long time ago, a place where we used to hunt. I grew up going down there during the summer. But before I even started collecting lighters, I found this down there. Didn't really know much about it. Didn't know much about lighters at all at that point, but that is one that is in our personal collection as well. Gemini Products Inc. I don't know what that... I think I tried to look that up, and I don't think it's any longer in business. So that's another family related, and obviously that one's one I'd never sell as well. This is another one that I bought because it reminded me of an uncle. My uncle that passed back in 2019. And he used to drink 100 pipers. He'd have me bring him a half-gallon of it whenever he needed it. Which, he didn't go through that half-gallon very quick. He took a sip out of a Coke, a can of Coke. And when I say a sip, I mean a sip. And poured his scotch in, put his thumb over the hole and kind of swished it all around, and that was his drink for the night. That was it. I could never do that. That's why I don't drink anymore. One of the reasons. Anyway, he used to have me bring him that 100 pipers. I thought I had another lighter that reminded me of my uncle, but I guess not. Got several here for Dad. But none of those are really candidates to be sold right now. Sooner or later, maybe, but probably unlikely even later for any of those, simply because most of them are fairly common. I didn't pay a whole lot for them. Couldn't get a ton if I did sell them. The Cygnus lighters, though, those will bring a pretty good price. Got a couple of automatics in here that I need to take a look at. Check the live chat here. Hello, Boo Rock Vintage Lighters, East Wadoon Flam, Dildozer, and Lazy Eddie. Glad that you are all with us this morning. Got at least another couple lighter content, guys. I hope you guys are having as much fun with your lighters as I am today. Dildozer and Lazy Eddie, I don't remember you being in the stream before. He said, Dildozer said, I want to sit on the Eiffel Tower. It'll feel good. Yeah, I can imagine. Lazy Eddie said, question, how do you make a Zippo lighter's flame bigger? P.S. I am subscribed. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate that, the subscription. Realize what lighter I got in my hand here. How to make a Zippo lighter flame bigger is basically going to be to, well, that's not a very good example. That's a Zippo-like lighter, but basically to expose more of your wick. It's really the only way that I can think of. You know, a park lighter is going to be the same way. Let me see if I can. See if I can find a Zippo Eddie that I could demonstrate with the wick. Or, yeah, Eddie was the one that asked that question. Yeah, and you clarified a classic Zippo. Yeah, obviously the butane are a little bit different. And this double torch, it has a adjustment on it. And that's not what you're talking about, but it doesn't really matter anyway because it won't run unless, I mean, just a tad. You can turn it down just a tad off the top and it'll function. But you definitely do not have the whole range of adjustment that, you know, you got at least a half a turn there. It only works at the top. Back to Boo Rock and Eastwa. They said hello. Eastwa says, hope you're doing good. Can't stay for long, but I'll let the live in the background. Yeah, thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. I appreciate you stopping by. I've been seeing your content, of course, every time I get on Facebook. Seems like I see a lot of it on Facebook here lately. And then, of course, TikTok. I don't get on, I'm still not real well versed at, well, any of that stuff really, but I'm kind of newer to Instagram than I am any of that stuff. But appreciate all you guys stopping by. Jad, Boo Rock, Dozer, Lazy Eddie. Oh yeah, let's take a look here at, before I go and see about finding a lighter I could screw around with. See if I can identify some lighters I might want to sell. And I think this might be one. This is that one that is marked D and Company. Won't be getting a lot of money for this one. It's not perfect, it's got plenty of flaws, but I think that somebody would be interested in purchasing that. Works pretty good, especially when you look at how narrow that ignition area is. I really didn't expect it to function all that great, but can't remember either whether I switched, I don't think I changed the wick. I think that was the wick that was in it, but I could be wrong. There's a video out there if I did, I'm sure. So I'll set that one out, take photos of that one. It's another one. Can't remember now who, I think these are unbranded. And it's a very interesting mechanism because the flint doesn't go in a tube like usual. It just lays underneath that firewall and then you spark it against the side. But I don't see any markings on that one. Chrome or maybe nickel plated. And I'm sure the base metal doesn't look brass. So, I don't know. Like I've told you guys a million times, I'm no metals expert. Here's another one, really cool lighter that I bought in a group off of Facebook Deal or No Deal page, and it's in pretty good shape on the outside. The flint tube has been repaired or cleared out. Doesn't look like it's ever been struck. May have some minor contamination to the wick. That's definitely one we want to go ahead and sell. Here's another lighter that I recently had in my personal collection, but just decided that time to move it on. I can't keep everything that my hands, or that comes through my hands that has the state of Oklahoma on it. I've had enough stuff given to me. Latest thing that comes to mind as far as the state of Oklahoma was that Zippo Slim that Gavin Lannon gave me about a year or so ago with the Indian chief with the headdress on it for, was it Comanche Supply Company? But this one is just a generic emblem that shows Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Tinker Air Force Base, Fort Sill, and then has the word Oklahoma across the bottom. Most of those cities that it shows there are not really located all that close to where they are on that pin, but whatever. Still a cool little lighter. Like I said, I just don't have room for everything, so that's one that I decided I'm going to sell. Another one, a pretty cool dual tone, matte and high polish. The lid is chrome plated brass. The body of the lighter is anodized aluminum. Promotional lighter for Fraternal Order of Eagles. Just show some scuffs, scratches, stuff like that. Oh, here's a brand new Zippo. This is Rainier Pacific. I'm not going to open that. It's already had pictures taken. I don't want to take the chance of scuffing the windscreen any more than mine have already occurred. It's a brand new lighter. I don't think it had any. Excuse me if I go silent for a moment. It was just the need to cough. Been dealing with allergies, something for months now. This is a group that I think as soon as I can get myself in a position, now that was its own lighter, I believe. That's what I ended up taking one of those apart to get to. Yeah, so that's pretty nice there with the case. So we'll go ahead and put that one over here to have photos. This other one at some point I need to have do one of the penny start for charity auctions. Give away both cases, the working insert that's in there, and then the insert that came in the one. There were videos about these lighters years ago now. One of them was sent to me from Dylan DePie by way of ZF77 Outdoors, maybe by the way of somebody else. I can't remember. It went through a few hands before it got to me. It was all seized up. Put it in the vinegar, and the vinegar basically just revealed that that leaf spring was already broken, fractured, and it went ahead and came out of there. Anyway, at some point we'll do that. Now this next lighter is a really nice lighter, which I acquired this lighter from Friedrich's Deal, and when I got it, it was seized up and not working, and he sent it to me in a group of basically junk lighters, and this was one of the better ones. And so that's what we're going to do with this one also, was penny start for charity, HDSA. I was talking about Huntington's Disease Society of America earlier and how much that disease, that cause, what that means to me, having killed my father. Anyway, that's what we'll do with that one. This other one is a lighter that I had to come up with a replacement insert for because the original got broken trying to get the flint out of the tube, and I was going to give it to a guy that I met. I think it was on TikTok. I can't remember now what his name was. He never responded to me. I messaged him about, he'd shown interest in the lighter. He was from New Jersey, which is where the Saddlebrook, New Jersey, I think is what it says on the bottom of the lighter. So, and then I believe this was the same thing. This was either sent to me from Friedrich or Gavin. It may have been a lighter from Gavin Landon. Gavin has sent me a bunch of stuff over the years, ashtrays, lighters to put in the penny start auctions, and I've just been so busy lately that I haven't had time to do those. I didn't even do them at Christmas time this year, and the last time I'd done them was the holidays the previous year. And I'm not sure what that insert, it's a park insert, but I'm not sure what it was for. Lazy Eddie said, "Can I see your favorite lighter?" Well, that's really hard to say, Eddie, but it would probably be one of these. You know, my daughter asked me that same question a while back because she was, I didn't realize at the time that she was literally going to get a tattoo. Like when she asked me that question, I thought maybe she had some more time. But I'll tell you the same thing I told her. I've got so many that it's really hard to say. So this one was the first one that came to mind, and that's what I told her because they'd just given it to me maybe a month or two before that. So this Crest Craft, made in Japan, because this is where my dad went to basic training. At the time, he used to tell me stories about the time that he was in the Army, and my dad was an adventurous kind of guy, so his time in the Army, it was toward the end of the Vietnam era, but he was stationed up in Alaska. So he assumed the whole time he was going to end up in Vietnam, and then they were scaling back, and never happened. He ended up getting out early. I'm not sure how early. I think the commitment was 2 years, and they ended up sending him home from Alaska right after my brother was born in April of '72, and he, I think, had just been up there shortly before I was born in April of '71. These two, though, this pink, pastel pink Cygnus, and this emerald green Cygnus, pretty special also. But even there, probably a Cygnus. Cygnus are definitely my favorite lighters. But it's there's so many reasons to like a lighter that it's so hard to point out one. The hot pink Cygnus with the watch. Need to find somebody to repair that watch. Got other Cygnuses here too. Give me just a second. This isn't my favorite lighter or anything, but I struck this last week, and I couldn't even remember when it had been fueled, but I struck it and it lit right up. Not lighting right up, but still got fuel in it. It's been sitting in there with fuel in it for months at least. Just a cheap Japanese lighter. Must seal off really well. Should still be firing up all that time later. That's another one that I probably need to take pictures of. This is another one that is definitely right up there among my favorite because it's a Cygnus, or at least I think it was. It didn't have a fuel screw when I bought it, so this is a replacement. I've seen two others, maybe even more since then, at least two. And every one that I've seen has been in a group of lighters that I wasn't able to purchase, wasn't willing to pay more than, a lot of times there'll be so many lighters in there that I really see no value in that other people do, so I may miss out on that one lighter just because I don't really see the prospect of being able to turn around and get rid of the others. And I don't have endless resources. Like, I've seen some collectors brag about how much money they spend. That's not what this is about for me. I do like getting a deal. I also like taking something that is out of use and putting it back in use. Repairing it, refurbishing it, whatever you call it. But this engraving on this lighter is really cool. Fancy scroll work and stippling. I don't know what those technical terms are exactly, but really cool. Really awesome lighter. Let's see if I can find a Zippo. Okay, was that Eddie or Dozer that asked the question? Hello, Mark. Glad to have you with us. That was Eddie that asked about how to make it bigger. This insert has one of the plastic. I've been meaning to make a video on this because it does seem to me like it buys you another day or two. But I also noticed when I was using it a lot that it was getting very hard to pull out, and I think it was because this rubber was degrading and then it was causing friction on those, or at least on that one side on the hump. I don't know if this rubber is going to have a tendency to disintegrate or maybe fall apart quicker, or I don't know, little chunks of it come off because of the petrol fuel. I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference in rubbers or plastics. Anyway, let's go ahead and fuel this up. Let me go get a pair of scissors too. So I guess I got everything out there that I'm currently, the rest of that stuff. That was the one that I was going to give away, and this was stuff for the auction. So that'll separate those from the lighters I'm going to take pictures of. If you happen to be a collector though and you're interested in buying one of these Cygnets, let me know. Let me determine if I'm willing to let it go. And I'll get it listed. There's definitely some that I'm not willing. Mount Fuji. Not likely that I would let that one go. We fueled that one up. Was that last Friday? Yep, still lighting up. Really nice paint job with some damage. And for the right price, I definitely would sell this one. It's one of my favorite lighters, but I've kind of come to terms with, other than the gifted lighters that I've bought, there just aren't going to be very many that I'm able to keep a hold of. Don't have room to anyway, so. It's a beautiful lighter though. Really like that one a lot. But if you see something like that, or you remember something like that from a video, just ask. If I've got it and I'm willing to sell it, I'll go ahead and get it listed. I serve all my listings are on eBay, but through my website at dependableflame.com/current eBay listings. Those are affiliate links on that site. eBay pays me a commission when you click through from that site and make a qualifying purchase. But those are my lighters that you see listed there. There are other links that you see on my site in articles, stuff like that. Those aren't typically, well, some of them are eBay links. They're, for the most part, well, not for the most part, they should all be labeled where it's taking you, Amazon, eBay, what it's for. An eBay partner, Amazon associate. There may be other affiliate links that are used on the site as well, but can't think of any right at the moment. Now a Cygnus lighter, we've talked about this several times. It'll only hold about 2.5 squirts from this dropper. I haven't exactly, seems like a Zippo is more like, well, actually I don't know that I've ever filled a Zippo with the dropper. If I have, I don't remember it. Last time I filled a Zippo, I think I was just counting. There's 3 full droppers there. Of course, with a Zippo, it'll start falling out the bottom too, before, if you let too much get in there, it'll start falling out the wick here. But as long as you've got dry cotton in there, or the weight of it isn't enough to allow that to start dripping, then you're good. So I've lost track too. I can't remember now whether that was 4 or 5. So that's about 6, 7 droppers, something like that. And it's a little damp on my finger. So that should be enough for it to go ahead and ignite without having to wait a lot for fumes to build up. And apparently not enough that it severely inhibited its ability to light by giving it vapor light. But you can see too that this flame is a pretty big flame, and while that wick has gotten pushed down a little bit, I had this wick set where it was just protruding out of the windscreen because I was lighting bowls with it. So you can see there when you straighten it out, it was just above the windscreen, which is where I put it. And like I said, you can see the flame. It's pretty big. Kind of overkill for a commercially produced cigarette. You wouldn't really need one that big, but as you see it kind of calming down there, it's not all that bad. Give you plenty target to tip your cigarette into and get it lit, or if you're lighting cones, as I'm always talking about. It's a lot harder to light other products other than commercially produced cigarettes sometimes, so a bigger flame there would come in handy. Give me a moment here, let's let that cool down and I'll trim that wick. Yeah, that's hot. So we'll trim that wick here in a minute and we'll see how much of a difference that makes. Alright, so now I can separate those by the one that's not in the sleeve. I've already taken pictures of that one, just need to take pictures of the boxes. You check the chat here. Lazy Eddie, that was a few minutes ago saying goodbye, so he may already be gone, but I'm glad you joined us, Eddie. He says he's going to make a stream of his own. Makes me wonder, what is Eddie's what is Eddie's channel? Does Eddie make lighter content? Does anybody know? Gotta clean a few things off here if I'm gonna take pictures. Alright, Mark, I'm unaware. Red wick camel hair packing. You telling me that ZF77 is wadding his Zippos with camel hair? Is that what you're saying? That's a new one to me. Now, I've used a lot of things. You can use old t-shirts or underwear, socks, stuff like that. But I do think I just need to get on YouTube. What am I doing? Trying to figure out what Lazy Eddie's channel is. But no, I'm ignorant of the camel hair. Well, I don't know. YouTube is kind of wonky sometimes. I don't know if Lazy Eddie's... I don't see a Lazy Eddie channel. So, Lazy Eddie, if you're still with us, let me know what kind of content you make. What kind of stream are you going to do? But very glad you dropped by today, sir. So you got anything else you want to tell me about this camel hair wadding, Mark, or do I just need to go check that out for myself? Don't have any coffee today, but I do have a hydration water. I think I'll go ahead though and I need to put those in a different place. I'm going to start, I've been keeping all these Sigma sliders in one place, but since I'm selling some of them, I'm going to take those that were gifts that I definitely am not going to be selling. This is the newest one, and I believe it's brand new. I don't even think it's ever been lit. Pan American Airlines. Got videos for that recorded. I don't think any of them have been published yet. Alright, so put those up until I decide which Cygnus I might want to sell. And that may depend on if I get all the pictures taken. It's quite a bit of pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Might take me the rest of the afternoon to take those pictures. Okay, so you saw what the... Oh, Eddie's leaving now anyway. Well, I'll make that video. I'll make that as a video later then. And maybe I can figure out how to tag Eddie in the video. But basically, I'm just going to cut that wick down, and that should shrink that flame quite a bit. I need to, there we go, here's a card. I need to write this out though so I remember what I'm doing. I remember what that lighter is for. Especially since I just filled it up. Well, I'm just gonna, never mind, I'll make that video as soon as we end this, and I'll just do it as I have the camera set up right here. Got everything here. I'll just move the camera in a little bit closer and do it that way. Okay, so that can stay in the background. These are what I'm going to be working on. So I'll move that over there with that. Get my light box set up here. Yeah, I just don't understand why. Cotton or rayon, the typical stuff that's been used, works well enough. Just, I wonder why. I mean, it sounds, I don't know. Sounds dirty to me, to be honest. Camel hair. And I'm sure it's been cleaned somehow, but it just doesn't sound, I mean. I've seen camels at the zoo and they don't look very clean. This is, putting a little screen in the back here for the color of the background. I really need a bigger box. And these things get stained so easy because you can see that on both sides. Yeah, maybe we use something other than yellow. I've used the yellow before. Not sure. Try this blue. Anyway, I need a bigger box. And of all the tasks that I have to do as far as selling lighters, operating this channel, everything that I do with vintage lighters, taking the listing photos is my least favorite thing to do. Really not much fun. Also, let me know if when I turn this on, if that were to interfere with the audio. I know sometimes plugging in one piece of electronics will throw off another. So that blue background doesn't look too bad. Let's see how that goes. Cleaned and degreased sheep wool too, yeah. I guess there are myriad of ways of cleaning animal hair because we've used it for different purposes for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So. Well, been using it ever since the fall of man, and God clothed Adam and Eve. Alright, that all looks good. Get my lighters back over here. Decide which ones I want to take pictures of first. If I'm selling a used lighter, then I always like to include a photo of it lit, but with a lighter like this pipe lighter here that is brand new, then obviously I'm not going to be including any lit photo. So then usually I need to come up with another angle to take a photo from. This is a really nice lighter though. I like that one. Tri-Light Craftsman. Seen similar lighters made by Penguin. This one is pretty thick though. It's maybe a little bit bigger than some of the others. I'll do my stand. I've got a million of these little stands, and I had one inside of there. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know, so. Also wanted to mention, I thought it was interesting looking, I'd noticed this before and just forgot. I don't think we talked about it when we were talking about the copies of those Cygnus lighters that are on, I think Friedrich said they were on AliExpress. We were talking about that the last time. Oh, that's the wrong iPad. But I forgot to mention, not only does it have the Cygnus flint tension thumb roller mechanism. Oh, I took that lighter out and put it in that other container. The typical let me go get that lighter back out. Might as well get this lighter back out to show it off again. Then I grabbed the wrong one out of there. I'll be back. The typical Cygnus flint tension thumb roller mechanism, but with the automatic versions there's a little bracket you can see here, and it looked like, at least the one that was on eBay, not only is it a copy of the Cygnus, it's a copy of the automatic Cygnus. So those Zoro copies of the Cygnus, the snuffer should fly up when you press the roller. So basically it should be like an auto roller light. Look at that one again though. Get the right light on it. And I looked up, we were talking about Urushi lacquer and Maki art design. I'm not sure exactly The Mach-E uses the Urushi lacquer. I don't know, I'm not saying that's what this is. That's what Friedrich had mentioned the other day. So that's a possibility. I did look up those different methods and at least figure that much out. Really intricate piece of artwork. Really cool. So eBay will now let you put 24 photos in a listing. I think 24 photos in one video. I haven't taken advantage of the video because I've been embedding my YouTube videos in there all along. So I've just continued to do that. Using a tool from a place called, a website called flippertools.com, which last time I checked the website, the tool wasn't available. But the guy who took over that website sent me a link to the tool, and last time I've been going to that tool from the link he sent me in Facebook Messenger, and even though they told me they didn't think it was going to work anymore, it's still been working as far as I know. So I take 12 to 18 photos typically. Most of these lighters will get 12 photos. And it's kind of a process to figure out the angles so you don't have glares or shadows, and I'm not real good at this. Struggle for me every time. But you got to have photos, you got to have plenty of photos, you got to have photos of every angle. So it's what I do, whether I like it or not, whether it's fun or not. What are the Zoro 915s, Mark? And tell me, do you feel a little bit dirty when you're using them? Does it feel like you're using a cheap copy of something? Or a knockoff, or something that has had its patent infringed upon? Okay, I'm always forgetting exactly what photos I've taken. Yeah, I really don't like this blue. This blue is not going to work. I need something lighter than that. That was the wrong one. Okay. I don't think red would be any better. I've been using the yellow one, or I've just been using it without one. that was really kind of stark and really white. This yellow one looked kind of dirty to me a while ago, but maybe that was something else. And I have taken a bunch of pictures with the yellow background. Don't remember exactly how long ago that was, but at one point, this was my main. I had it set up for a good while. So hopefully the yellow is a little bit more conducive to actually seeing things on the surface of the lighter rather than just getting it flat. Getting it flat just kind of the color washing out anything on it. Okay, so let me see what you're saying here, Mark. You said it's a heavy brass Zippo clone. People who make it are not forced to abide by U.S. patent law, and we send our stuff to them and contract with them to produce it. Who is we? Who is we, Mark? You got me curious now. Get a cloth to wipe these off with. Yeah, as you can imagine, Mark, I've heard that Jimi Hendrix joke a time or two. Okay, that's not too bad. Take the first picture and then see a piece of dust right in the middle of it. So that's what the rest of my afternoon is going to look like right there. I've taken, there's number 7. Take 12 photos for each of these, and then go edit, basically crop them, watermark them, and then go create the listings, which doing everything from eBay all the way hard to get a picture that flat because of the positioning of the lights. When it's a brand new lighter, that I'm not going to include a photo of the lighter lit, then obviously there needs to be an extra photo. And with this one we can actually do that by taking 2 angles of the insert because of being able to see the wick from both the pipe position and the cigarette position. You say we are the people in the U.S. wanting mass production of products at a cheaper price. Yeah, but they're making those Zoros in, where do they make the Zoro lighters at? And what are you saying that they are that they're infringing upon Zippo's patents? Some of those hinges that I've seen on those Zoro lighters don't look anything like Zippo hinges. Hello, Friedrich. Hong Kong. So all the Zoro lighters are made in Hong Kong? And is Hong Kong appropriately, that is separate, or it's supposed to be separate from China, right? Maybe it's not actually though. And look at the mirror finish on that. There's some scratches and stuff, but the insert's really nicely plated. Pretty cool lighter. part of China. I'm just here taking some photos, Friedrich. Photos of that, what was that, Craftsman trim light, tri-light. Not sure why it would be called a tri-light. I can see a bi-light because you can light it off the top and the side. Maybe because you can light it off of either side. Anyway, that's a pretty cool lighter. I need to go. Well, I may fuel that up. We'll see. A lot of times I just grab a screen capture when I'm taking listing photos and I don't want to actually fuel the lighter up just to take that one photo. But Mark, are you saying, you said earlier that we send our stuff to them. You're not saying that somebody is literally sending material from the U.S. to Hong Kong for them to produce the lighters for the U.S. market, are you? No question though, if I ever get to the point with this lighter operation where I can hire somebody to help me, the first job I'm going to delegate to somebody else is taking these listing photos. Monotonous, boring, tedious. It's not my favorite thing to do. The yellow background seems to be a pretty good contrast. Friedrich, we brought it up a while ago. I don't think you were with us yet. I hadn't noticed it when we were, or I had noticed it, but I forgot to bring it up when we were talking about it the other day. But those Cygnus lighters that we have, or not Cygnus lighters, those Zoro lighters that are a copy of the Cygnus, have all of them that you've seen look like they're the automatic version. All the ones that I'd seen look like the automatic version, which I think is pretty cool. If they're going to do it, of course you should do the automatic version. Before I take all the, or as I'm taking all these pictures, it reminds me I need to go and turn off my syncing. Or these are all going to get lost if I don't do them today. They'll get lost with all the turning off my cloud sync on this iPad. Otherwise those photos will get mixed in with the others, and if I don't get to them today and get them Download photos and videos to iPad. Photos and videos that have been optimized to save space will be removed from this iPad. Okay, I think I just removed all the photos that I didn't take on this iPad, and that'd be exactly what I wanted to do. So. Okay, that should make that a little bit more manageable anyway. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frigid says yellow helps give less flash off silver, chrome, or nickel. Yeah, I was getting terrible results off that blue background I tried to use right before that. And Friedrich also says that yes, he has all the ones he's seen have been the automatic version. They did have a butane version as well. Huh, interesting. And haven't seen it listed for some time. Yeah, interesting. You know, there was a butane Cygnus. The body of the lighter was shaped a little bit different, but there were vintage butane Cygnuses as well. Okay, so what it sounds like you're saying, Mark, is that they're just they are prone to steal any idea. And Friedrich adds that they are masters at economy of scale as well. Very interesting. Well, I'm curious about the products, and I know that there's plenty of people that have bought those Zoros that are similar to the Zippos, or maybe even some of them copies of the Zippos. I don't know, and gone on and on about the quality of them and all that. So. See the soot in that. How close I gotta get here. Can't see it very well with that light. Anyway, it's a really clean lighter, but you can see where I'd cleaned the soot, and it's just kind of mopped around in there. It's not perfect. So whoever buys this lighter will see that, which is exactly how it is supposed to be. You know, I say that often. I clean most every lighter, clean it up, but I don't do polishing. There's going to be evidence that all I did was just wipe it off, basically. Now let me go see if I can grab a screenshot of that lighter lit. Ah. So the Parker Pen Company, Friedrich, was a U.S. company? And you're saying they went into Hong Kong, set it up, and then left everything, which allowed them to do that. Who owned the Ronson factory? That was a British Empire thing, wasn't it? So who do we blame for leaving all the Ronson stuff? Had a new short published here about 26 minutes ago. If you guys get a chance to check that out today. What was it going? Oh. All right. See if I got a good clean shot of this lighter lit here. Probably not, because it looks like I didn't light it until the very end. Or maybe I did. Just a little bit too late with the there we go, maybe that one will work. A button over here quit working on this iPad. I dropped it right after I got it like 8 years ago. This is my secondary iPad. So I have to use different controls. Crop this down. And so that's what I usually do when I need a photo of it lit and I don't want to fuel the lighter just to take the photo. Then I will where did that just go? Well, apparently my screenshots are going somewhere else. There it is. So that's the lit photo that I'll use for that lighter in that listing. So this is all boring minutia. Let me check in over here on the live chat again. Friedrich said, yep, Ronson UK owned the Hong Kong subsidiary. Yes, Parker Pen was a U.S. company at the time. Now it's French operated, owned. Mark says, Friedrich, exactly. They get drawings and plans and computer files and machinery. I don't know what people expect when we hand them everything they need. They've got materials. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but there's also such a thing as honesty and not stealing other people's ideas. I mean, Friedrich says after the UK bought the US company out and then closed operations about a decade ago. Interesting. Yeah, it's all real confusing. I know talking to my friend Donald Hine. He's still in communication with some kind of Ronson company in Europe that seems to be different from Zippo. I don't know. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Been on here now for almost an hour and a half. And although there wasn't ever a great amount of excitement going on, there's even less now that I'm just taking pictures. So I am going to go ahead and hop off. I'd appreciate it if you guys would go over and check. I'm going to make this video as soon as I get off here, showing Eddie how to cut down that wick and hopefully affect the size of the flame. But go over and check out the YouTube, the short that we just published at noon. There should be one every day at noon. We'll see for sure right now a full-length video on Saturdays, 8 a.m. on Saturdays. Shorts every day at noon during the week. And other than that, we will try to fill in where we can. Try to do a stream every Tuesday or Friday. And we should be able to do that at least every other week, if not every. Probably can figure out every week to do it either on Tuesday or Friday, hopefully. Friedrich also says, and with Zippo's quality and quality control of late, I sure don't mind picking up a heavy-duty Zoro. You sure don't mistake that lighter being in your pocket. Ronson Up and or maybe meant Ronson US and Ronson Japan are independent of US Zippo Ronson. Okay. Oh, Ronson Europe maybe. UK. There you go. Mark says, I bought that Zoro for its tank-like durability and novelty, not because I'm No, I'm not anti-Zippo either, but I do think it's a fair statement for Friedrich to call their quality control into question. There have definitely been issues with, especially with some of the collectibles of the year, some of the things I've seen in some of the Zippo Facebook lighter groups. Yeah, kind of like they're supposed to have special inserts in them and they all got sent out without them, or the finish is coming off, or hinges loose. I've had several new Zippo lighters in the last few years that the hinges are fairly loose. Ronson Hungary still left. Romania, okay. Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to spend the rest of the afternoon taking pictures, hopefully getting some listings up. And I'll see you guys down the road somewhere. Definitely in the shorts every day at noon, every weekday. Full-length video at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. And like I said, we'll see what else we can throw in there. Also check out TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the DependableFlame.com Facebook lighter group. There's always good posts and discussion going on over there. And for Lazy Eddie, I'm gonna make that video to hopefully show you how to cut down the size of this flame as soon as we hang up. Until next time.